Okay guys, here's the um, Aurora Borealis, if I'm saying that right. This is that slab that I got from Alan. So instead of chipping all that down and losing a whole bunch, I decided to go get a little bit better, more professional glass cutter. I got to put the back opens here, put a little bit of cutting oil in here. I think it just helps lubricate the little wheel so it cuts a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna score it. And I think it goes this. It like stopped scoring right there. That was really weird. Yeah, I feel the score there, but I don't know what's wrong if I'm doing it. There we go. Okay, and then Mr. Jack Crafty said to get a little piece of wire. There we go. Okay, and then Mr. Jack Crafty said to get a little piece of wire. Maybe it didn't score good enough. Maybe I need a bigger one. Maybe like or maybe the same rod. Well, there you go. So now I have two pieces. So this one's a little longer, but it kind of comes to a point there, and then this one. So I'm gonna start with this one and see if I can get a point out of it. Alright guys, so today's the day I'm going to try to work this, and I'm not proficient at slabs at all. I mean, the fundamentals should be the same. From watching the videos, I know that when you take flakes on slabs that don't have any convexity and don't have any ridges to follow, the flakes just kind of go real shallow and wide. So the main thing, like I'm always going to do, just like a piece of rock, is bevel this side right here and do zigzag so that, you know, I can get a working edge here. And then this side already had a natural cut. That's probably the natural surface of the rock, and it's already beveled at a 45-degree angle, so the rock was probably curved right there. So I'll just use my percussion and kind of work that down a little bit. I won't have to zigzag or anything right there. I'll just be able to make a working edge, but it's this side. And then I'll lose a little bit of the tip, but I want to try to keep as much length of that as I can. So yep, let's go ahead and try to zigzag this side, and then what I'm going to do is attempt to rough this up some, because it's slick. It'll help the percussion grab. And since it's a modern slab anyway, I'm going to use modern equipment. I'm not going to use my abo on the slab. I don't want to risk breaking it. This is some really rare rock here that Mr. Alan Cole gave me, and I really wanted to get a point out of it. So, all right. I'm not trying to take long flakes right now. I'm literally just trying to get a working edge. Oh, that one kind of was a long flake. It's not really what I was trying for, but all I'm trying to do is do beveled edge so that I have something to work on. And then instead of perfectly flat, I can angle it back a little bit, because all I'm trying to do is 45 the edge. I'm not really trying to run flakes and risk breaking it. So that's all I'm trying to do, is just go back and forth, back and forth. I'm definitely not as fast as some people with this indirect and with this zigzag. I used to pressure flake. The time or two I've done slabs, I've pressure flaked and zigzagged the edge, but it's pretty difficult. It takes a long time. This one's a little thick, so indirect is really the way to do it. And then don't overhit it. When you're trying to actually drive the flakes, I can hit it a little bit harder, but here, just enough to break it, to fracture it. And I'm gonna take my time, so I apologize. This is gonna be a slow, monotonous video, but I really want to get Alan a point out of this. I want, obviously, to keep one for me, because I've never had this stone before, and I want to get him a really nice one out of it too. Out of the kindness of his heart, he sent me this rock, man, and I super appreciate it. Been having a lot of fun with all the obsidian he collected from Glass Buttes. Pretty cool to see on the social medias this weekend. There's been a lot of nap-ins lately, and it's a lot of fun to see everybody going to those nap-ins. I went to my first nap-in ever here in Arizona. That was a lot of fun. There wasn't a huge, turnout because it's brand new, but man, we had fun. We napped a lot of local Arizona obsidian, some Burrow Creek rock, some basalt. It was fun. Ooh, that was close to breaking right there. Okay, and then you know what, man, I might just end up losing, instead of trying to keep that as the tip, because to keep that as the tip, it's kind of off center. I'd have to cut the bottom anyway, so I think I'm gonna do this as the bottom and then use this as the tip, because by the time I get done flaking that's just gonna be gone anyway. So just realized it, kind of looking at it, if you draw kind of a straight line and figure out how that point would be, it would work, but then my base is going to be off to the side and I would have to straighten it out anyway, so it's going to end up losing length here or there. So today was like 106, I think, instead of 115, 112. It was a bad summer this year, so it's really starting to cool down for us a little bit, and the humidity's not quite as bad as it was because the monsoon's kind of over. Okay, I kind of just need to break that tip off, but I don't want to risk breaking the piece, so I've got to figure out what's the best way to nip that away. Just gonna try to slowly nibble it away. I thought of something really cool the other day for my abo indirect. I think, look out buddy, this is sharp. Get out of here, I'll play with you in a little while. This is really, really sharp. Look out guy. Go. I don't want you to get hurt. I'm thinking about getting a curved piece of antler with a leather strap that wraps around my leg and holds it, and there's a drill and there's just a piece of antler sticking out for my indirect, and it's just always, I'm not having to hold it or anything, it's just literally on my leg, almost like when you do the under the leg, and that's there, and I can just do indirect with it, you know, permanently attached. So because this is loose, you know, and then I'm gonna do both kinds of napping with modern tools and then napping with primitive tools. Now I love the copper paddle, and I know some people say copper, you know, was used, and some people say it wasn't. Well, here's a native Michigan flint copper that I got from Mr. Tyler Cole. It's a really, really nice piece. So I'm gonna use that for flaking and stuff, and then that's, you know, as natural as it gets. It just looks like how it came out of the ground or in the stone. So I'm sure if they found that, they would obviously use it. But yep, that's gonna be fun. I look forward to messing with that. Get out of here. You're going to get hurt. No, I know. I'll play with you. We'll play in the pool. Look out. No, go. Nope, this is dangerous. This is sharp. Go. I'm sorry. I don't want the dogs. The other rock is, you know, not so bad, but man, this obsidian, whew, some sharp stuff. I don't want them to get it in their feet. I suck it indirect, but it's coming along. I'm getting it. It's amazing what it can do to thin some of the points. Again, I'm sorry, this is going to be slow going, guys, but I do not want to break this thing. I'm going to really, really take my time. It's not every day that you get a piece of this fancy stone. This is still way too high compared to that side, so I might as well. Some of that down. I'm timid. I'm used to just grabbing my little hammer stone and just breaking off those edges. I might use my little hammer stone a little bit to work some of these, raise the platforms up so I can shoot some flakes across. I might actually do that today. Okay, so I got this side all zigzagged. I got the back kind of squared up. I'm gonna flake the back a little bit and thicken this back because it's so thin. I'll never get any flakes through there. So apologize. I was looking for this little flat hammer stone that I used to do that. Just kind of swipe the edge, raise the edge, and thicken it. Works really, really good for that. And this is kind of going to the other side. Okay, and then this corner already has that 45, so I'm hoping to just kind of do that since it's already beveled. Be very careful. There's lines or like natural cracks in there from the original stone surface, so I got to be careful that none of the flakes from either indirect or percussion follow one of those and crack it. Okay, so now I got a better working edge there. I can still do some more. Sounded like it was shocking the piece a little bit. Try to get a good working edge around this whole thing. Okay, and then I'm going to look naturally which side these platforms tends to lean. They're more leaning towards that way, so I'm going to raise this edge so I can do some indirect right now. But I'll probably get some from the bottom too, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. I might try to get one right now from down there. Got a decent little platform right there. Shoot it at an angle. Oh, holy cow, that was a big flake, but for some reason it like almost overshot. It dove into the other side, and I mean, it went from here, and I angled it in this towards the edge too much instead of probably more straight in, and it dove into the edge. So I mean, that's literally about as lucky as it gets. That was damn near a break, so I'm gonna have to absolutely fix that right now before I do anything else. Oh yeah, see, it cracked big old. Bro, man, that sucks, but that's okay. That's part of it. I'm learning. That sucks though. I just lost a lot of width right there. All right, and just like that, that square edge is gone. Square edge is gone. Let me raise this edge a little bit so we can fire some flakes across this face. Before, when I first was flint knapping, what I was doing wrong, I was abrading, but I wasn't rebuilding the working edge. I feel like you take flakes off both sides and the edge gets so thin it just crushes and collapses, especially on obsidian. So just doing this slight little brush down, and you know, some of the best snappers, they just use their, you know, indirect stick and just kind of real fast, and they're doing the same thing. They're raising the edge up so you can shoot some flakes, but I'm not that as proficient with that yet, so I do it this way. It's a little monotonous, but it works. No! You're gonna go inside if you're gonna be bad. Look at that. That sucker shot all the way across, man, to like right there. That was really nice. That was a really good flake. Okay, let's take a little baby one here. That was another nice Nice flake. Okay, don't want it to get too thin and snap, so I gotta be careful. All I'm doing is getting the working edge so that I can pressure flake it, really. Get rid of this, these saw marks, and then pressure flake. I turn the camera sideways to get more in the frame instead of up and down vertical like I've been filming all my videos, and I have to get closer up here. So man, I think some of this, I'm waiting for my camera to come. Okay, there we go. Oh man, it overshot a tiny bit of the bottom there. Let's take a look at that. I don't think too bad, but it did. Yeah, see, just that little tiny, that flake, I guess, traveled down and it shaved off some of the back. Now I got another little square edge there again, but I can work that edge and get that off and then all that. So let's focus on that. No, Sasha, this is bad. This is sharp. Stay over there. No, you guys be good. Look out. Psst. Man, the summertime's brutal. Like, the poor doggies want to be out here with me because they think it's like playtime, but it's like 100 and whatever degrees out here, and they can't be out here for too long. So I might have to stop this video and do a part 2. Just take my time with it. I'm not going to rush this piece. Okay. That side is pretty much skinned, man. That's awesome. This side had that natural bevel on there, and it almost made it harder for me. I would have been better off if it was square and I just zigzagged it, but that's what it was, so I have to deal with it. Okay. And I'm just trying to get a working edge here, man. I'm not trying to take any long flakes right now, nothing, just... Yeah, those natural cracks, that's what I was saying. They're where those striations are, those natural cracks, it wants to follow that, so I'm gonna have to be very, very careful with that. Definitely wants to break right there. Not wanting to give me a working edge with those natural cracks. It's just being a brat. You know what? I might actually pressure flake zigzag this and deal with that, because I'm afraid the impact of the indirect stick is going to put too much force, and I think I'm going to end up snapping it. So let me get my indirect tool, or I'll just use this, maybe even in this one. Again, not trying to shoot any flakes at all. I'm just literally trying to get this into a working edge because it's so bad right there. Okay, cool. So I got a lot of that garbage off of there. Work this edge so we can shoot some indirect. It's so hot my glasses won't stay on my face. They just sweat. They just want to fall off. I need to get those little eyeglass holders. Alright guys, let's get a couple gentle peelers here so we can get to pressure flaking this thing. What did I do with my... Whoa. That was almost an overshot, but that was perfect flake. Can't ask for anything better than that, but man, scary. I'm scared of the overshots now. I've been ruined. As I'm getting better at pressure flaking and indirect, I've been broken a couple points over the last couple weeks with the darn overshot flakes to the other side. Damn, see how that thing just ran? I mean, oh man. That is thin in there, and there's a little baby crack in there. Oh, man. I think I'm giving it too much juice, guys. Oh, that's super thin right there. Man. Brutal. There we go. And that spot is so thin right there. Really, I hope I'm okay with that. I don't know, man. There's definitely a little baby crack in there. Alright, man. Okay, they say thin the tip and the base before the center gets too thin, and that's the thinnest spot right there, and it is kind of up towards the, so that's a little bit scary, but we go. And barely even tap those and they're flying across. Oh, perfect example. Flake went all the way across and overshot. I got really lucky because it kept the point, but man, I lost a tiny bit of length right there. At least now I can pressure flake the rest of that. That's good. It's been thinned up. That's the main thing. Okay, let's raise this edge and get the rest of that junk off. Well, nope, it's already towards this side. Let's get the rest of that off. And this is anxiety. Usually I don't care so much because it's like whatever, but I was gifted this piece, so it's like adds a little bit of pressure there. It's a special piece. That's a heck of a flake there. Buddy, this is sharp. Go. This is bad. This is obsidian. Poor puppies, they want to play, but I can't nap it just any time of the day, man. It's got to be in the early morning or the afternoon, evening, so. There's a peeler. So you could be able to get one from this side down at an angle and then the rest, and then man, that thing will be skinned besides that little tiny spot. Let's go ahead and raise that and do that right now. Man, guys, this sucker is thin already, so I have to really take my time and be careful. There we go. We got one to travel halfway across. Almost got it. Dove a tiny bit right there. Oh good, it came out. So when I square up that edge and go up, all that's going to be gone. So last little spot is here. Okay, got some of that chunk off. That's what I was looking for. There we go. All right, that was a stressful thing for me, man. So I'm gonna take a break here, leave that there. It's all skin peeled as a little biface, and then I'm gonna start doing pressure flake a little later.